Yeah, a very nice welcome. Also from my side, my name is Peter Smoley. I'm the CEO of the company, AnalyticsCreator, and I welcome you to our webinar, Faster SSIS Delivery, Better Control, from metadata-driven SSIS generation to governed deployment. Yeah, when you have one of these challenges, then you're absolutely right in this webinar. So you maybe still have running SSIS environments in your organization. You are facing manual change processes and development processes, and you have the wish to optimize your work with CI and CD. And also maybe you have a vision for to migrate in the upcoming years to modern architectures. Yeah, then these are maybe the question you're interested in. There are for sure some more, but you will find the answers in our webinar. So it's all about Microsoft SQL Server and SSIS. And also at the end, we will show you a bit more when you want to migrate to modern architectures in Azure or Fabric. Then we give you some ideas about that. Yeah, we got just a week ago these numbers from Microsoft. Worldwide, there are around 74,000 companies which are still using SSIS. This is a huge number. And this is around 5 to 11% of the global ETL market share. So SSIS is still a critical part of many enterprises in data environments. So companies, they have still problems with manual requirements engineering and do the whole process manually. Also the design and of course the development process. And also they are facing problems with resources. Employees leaving the companies, new employees are coming, and there is very often insufficient documentation. We see very often also different architectures in the same company, different standards and conventions. And of course, there are always changing requirements. If it's coming from the IT side, new ERP systems, CRM, whatever, and also from the business side, they want new reports or to have a completely new sales reporting, whatever. And also there is also a wish often to develop just everything completely new on a new version. But this will not help you because the big vendors like Microsoft, they don't offer you tools which helps you in your organization to solve these problems. And exactly there is where AnalyticsCreator and DILM Suite is coming in. AnalyticsCreator is a full data warehouse automation technology. It means we are pulling out the metadata of your sources and we generating the whole data warehouse development and also the design process. So we support you in the design process with modern architectures like data vaults, Kimball, and whatever. And DLM Suite is a lifecycle management tool which helps you to organize the deployment, the comparison, and the recovery of everything. So it's more operational tool, and AnalyticsCreator is a pure design time tool, which is not used in the operational in the running process. Yeah, just like a developer part. Yeah. So this is from my side. Then I give the token over to Andy. And after Andy, Gustavo will do the presentation. So Gustavo will show you how to develop a data warehouse. And after that, Andy will do his part and show how the DLM suite is working. Yeah, so Andy, please.
Thank you, Peter.
Take over.
Yeah, that was a great introduction. I'm a huge fan of AnalyticsCreator, the company and the software. And we've been interacting for more than a year now. And I find the whole idea of code generation and automation fascinating. And I've worked with tools like this all throughout my career. And I encourage you to take a look at AnalyticsCreator. If you haven't heard of them before, or if you're new to code gen with SSIS, I think Peter made some excellent points. And I'm very thankful that I and DILM Suite are able and available to participate in this webinar today with you. DILM Suite is really just a collection of tools that are designed to help manage governance, basically. And governance is a big deal. It improves your confidence in your deployments. There's regulatory considerations in many markets. The data engineering or data integration, as we used to call it, is subject to regulations. And so in order to manage all of that, at a bare minimum, you know, the idea that you can confidently pick up your code from, say, a development environment, walk it through lifecycle management tiers into production with as much confidence as possible that you've caught, managed, and reduced any issues that may occur once you deploy to production. If you've ever had something go sideways in production, you already know what I'm talking about. Those are bad feelings when things just don't work. And we got a couple of tools here that I'm really going to focus on. DILM Deployment Utility sort of stands in the middle. It bridges the gap. I'm not going to be able to demonstrate everything either of these tools do today, but I can give you a good enough introduction where I believe you can see the value in them. DILM Deployment Utility, we're going to use it to deploy the contents of what we're calling a development tier SSIS catalog over to a production tier. The previous screenshot SSIS catalog compare, we're going to use it a couple of times to do some comparison and do some code promotion as well. The third part that we probably won't get to today is SSIS Framework Manager. It serves essentially as an orchestration layer, which again, we need in governance if we're going to be able to fully manage the execution and orchestration. And I'll just say up front, AnalyticsCreator also provides some orchestration functionality in what they build. I don't feel like we're competing. I feel like we're complementing each other. And I love options as an engineer. And I hope if you're an engineer, you understand what I mean by that. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Gustavo. And Gustavo is going to walk you through a code gen project. He's going to design a data warehouse in a star schema. I'm not trying to steal too much of your thunder, Gustavo, but it's fascinating to watch. And if you've ever done this by hand, if you've done it manually, what he's going to do for you here in just the next few minutes is, honest to goodness, months of work, not making that up. So Gustavo, take it away.
Yes, Andy, thank you so much. That's a fantastic introduction. Also, to me, it's an honor to have my guru of SSIS together with me. So, as Andy says, AnalyticsCreator is a very easy tool. As Peter mentioned, it's a pure design studio for data warehouse. So, first things first, we just need to open AnalyticsCreator. It's a desktop application, can run anywhere. You don't need to production access to build or to change your data warehouse because it's based in pure metadata. And right now, I just need to create a new data warehouse. This new data warehouse I call new Northwind, DWH, yeah, new Northwind DWH. And right now, what AnalyticsCreator is doing is creating all the metadata repository for us to receive all the metadata from the data sources, from our business rules, from our layers, yes, and also in a single metadata repository, in a single database, yeah, and it's not a file config, it's not a complicated YAML file, it's just a pure metadata in a database. So as you can see, it's very, very easy and very, very fast to create AnalyticsCreator repository. And right now it's inside of our database. In this case, we are using SQL Server 2025. Thanks Bob Ward to release this developer and enterprise version for us. And as a data warehouse, we need a connection. So we're gonna use Northwind database for doing so. I just need to add a connector, and I'm gonna add Northwind as a data source. And I need just to copy the connection strings. In this case, for demo purpose, we are not encrypting our connection strings, but yes, we could, but doesn't make sense for the demo. And now I just need to create our data warehouse. As Andy has mentioned, if we need to do it manually, so we take a lot of time, but is not the reality when we have AnalyticsCreator, such a powerful tool. I just will select the connector that I just add. I will select the data warehouse type that I want to build. In this case, classic means Kimball methodology. Yeah. And I will select all the tables that I wish should be part of my data warehouse. In this case, I will select by purpose. I will miss, I will miss table orders and table, just a second, please. Table orders and the table region. And then I will select this. And we're gonna see that categories, orders, all the tables that we need are here. Sorry, I made a mistake. Great. So I will keep order details, and I will move orders to make it later. Yeah, and I will mark order details as a fact. In this part of AnalyticsCreator Data Warehouse Wizard, we have some customizations that we can use, and we have, for example, the amount of tables that we want to keep as inside of one pack. Yes, so during considering the best practice of data engineering as well and data builds, we can customize as well the name of the imported package names. We can customize the prefix or the suffix, the table names, the transformation names, the view names, the procedure names, all the same, all the good practice for the industry. In the next screen, we can have a calendar. We don't need to build a calendar as well, just need to push a calendar. And we can also include a change for the schemas of the pages, of the layers, sorry. Considering we are using Kimball methodology, we always talk in layers, about layers. And we also have default transformations to save us some time, to do not need to do it manually. AnalyticsCreator automatically will select the columns and we will apply all the default transformation. When I hit finish, is just in a few seconds, you're gonna see that AnalyticsCreator just built our data warehouse in pure metadata. And we can deploy this data warehouse right now because it's ready. Yeah, it's ready to be deployed. Just wait a few seconds, and yes, so we have our data warehouse here. We have our fact table. Let me save this project right now. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Let's save the file first. Yeah. So because we have built all the metadata, the only thing that we need to do now is generate the packages. Remember, AnalyticsCreator is a pure design studio platform that we generate all the data warehouse, and also we need to build the deployment. In this case, I will call the deployment new Northwind data warehouse as well, and I will create the DAC pack and deploy the DAC pack using 2022. And also, you can see on the right-hand side, when I have the mouse arrow, I will generate SSIS packages, yes, as using the same acronym that we have. And also, as Andy mentioned, we have the workflow package to coordinate everything. Yeah. So basically, for us, this is just this work. Doesn't matter if it's 1,000 tables or just a few tables like this example. And when I hit deploy, I will hand over to Andy, because now our data warehouse is inside of a SQL Server. Yeah. And Andy can demonstrate to us how it can be deployed, how it can be managed, how it can be verified using the DILM Suite. It's with you right now, Andy.
And what I'm going to do is just minimize Analytics Creator here and the and Notepad. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Explorer. I'm going to look in Documents, not Downloads, Documents. And under Analytics Creator repos, I'm going to go pick this one we just generated. And there is a project in here. Notice if we double click this, we're able to open this up in Microsoft Visual Studio 2026. I believe this is Insider's Community Edition. And very nice that we're able to get a modern development platform that we use for SSIS development manually should we need to go here. We will rarely need to do this because it's so efficient. If a change shows up, even if it's a modest change, maybe we needed one more source added, where usually we'd go create a new package or modify an existing package to bring that source in. It's so fast and easy to do this in Analytics Creator. We'll often just go there, regenerate everything in a few clicks in a few minutes, and a new project is generated. In fact, I'm doing a little bit of pre-staging here. And this is what I just described is going to be Gustavo's next demo after this. I'm going to go ahead and deploy this directly from Visual Studio, just so we can walk through the deployment wizard here. And if you're here and you're watching, there's a number of you watching. If do any of you do SSIS development these days? Are you still actively engaged in managing data engineering with SSIS in your enterprise? If you could just drop us a note or a thumbs up, note in the chat or a thumbs up, let us know while we're doing this deployment. I'm going to deploy to demo VM, which I'm treating as my development environment. And I'm going to make a brand new folder here. I'm going to call this one NW for Northwind, DW for Data Warehouse. And that's the folder I'm going to put this in on my dev system. So when I click OK, and then next we begin the deployment here by clicking the Deploy button. This takes a minute. If you've ever done the deployment with the Integration Services Deployment Wizard, you're familiar with this minute or so of wait. And as these 4 steps that it does, it's already completed 2 of them, loading the project and connecting to the destination server, which is the instance of SQL Server that houses the SSIS catalog. We set all of that up before. It does a changing of the protection level, and then finally it does the deployment, and now it should be over there. So now we're going to do something that's new and different. We're going to open up SSIS Catalog Compare, and I'm going to refresh Demo VM. This is our dev environment. You can see I'm connected there. I'm also connected to my production environment, the Demo VM /prod, a new instance of of SQL Server over there with an SSIS catalog as well. This refresh takes about a minute. There you see our brand new NW DW folder. And if I run a quick compare between these two environments, we're going to see that one is marked as being different. We see no marks over in production because everything that's in the production server exists on the dev tier here, and it happens to match. So if I right click this particular folder and expand the differences, I'll see all of these are new, and that's what this indicates here. So one cool thing that I can do in SSIS Catalog Compare is I can treat my entire catalog as code. And I love this because it's infrastructure as code being applied to data engineering with SSIS. I can right-click the catalog database, SSIS DB, which is also the name of the catalog, and just click Generate All Catalog Scripts. When I click OK, and then pop into my documents here. If we go up a couple of levels, there's that DILM folder and that cat folder. I have these sorted by the latest date. This is what we just generated, was this cat pack file. And you can tell by looking at the timestamp and at the clock on the VM down here, that was just generated within the minute. If I double click this cat pack file, then it opens in DILM deployment utility. And this utility was written to give us a way to do code promotion between SSIS catalogs that represent different tiers in our data integration lifecycle management and inside of there. And you notice we can be pretty surgical about this. I'm going to go ahead and deselect the old Northwind one there and the old NW one. I'm not going to overwrite my SSIS stuff. This is a folder that exists to hold SSIS framework functionality, and we're probably not going to get to demo that, but that's okay. For my test server, I'm going to go ahead and connect to my target, which is the production instance. If I hit enter, it does a quick test and it tells me down here in the status bar it's successfully connected. And then if I click the execute button, it prompts me, it gives me a big old "Are you sure?" I am, and I'm biased. I wrote this, but I kind of like watching this deployment happen. It's nice asynchronous deployment, and it kind of giving me a progress by changing color here as it's deploying. I can see exactly what's running. It does this in that serial order because there are dependencies. There's a folder script right up here at the top. You can see that top script. You can't really deploy an SSIS project unless and until you've created the folder for it. And these dependencies carry all the way through in DILM deployment utility. If I return now to SSIS Catalog Compare and refresh my target, I should now see this NWDW folder, and there it is. And if I do a quick compare, we're going to see nothing light up over on my dev side because everything has been deployed with matching settings to my target. So if I just go through and manually expand these, you can see they match what Gustavo built, what I deployed, and what we've just accomplished, again, with some confidence that this is correct. We've done our work in dev. We've deployed to dev. We've done some quick checks. Hopefully, we've done some unit testing in the middle of this over on dev, and we were satisfied that it's ready, and then we promoted it to prod. Would we do this just from dev to prod in real life? Maybe. It's going to depend. I'm not going to go through all of the things it will depend on, but I've got a blog post about this out at andyleonard.blog where I talk about data integration lifecycle management tiers. And this mirrors an idea that we totally got from software development, application lifecycle management. They've had this figured out for decades now. We're bringing those ideas that have proven themselves over in software development lifecycle management. We're bringing them now into data engineering. And so most of the time, we wouldn't go directly from dev to prod. We would have, in my blog post, I recommend 4 tiers, but I've done consulting engagements where we've set up even more than that. Number of reasons why I don't want to take any more of Gustavo's time. I can't wait to see what he's going to do, because, Gustavo, one of the things I noticed you omitted when you designed this data warehouse was that orders table and the regions table. I'm excited to see how you modify an existing analytics creator, first the metadata, and then how that looks once you drop that out into the project. I can't wait.
Yeah, sure, Andy. And also, when you were talking, I had some insights. Let me connect to the VM again, just a second. When you are talking about the beauty of this solution is not just that really works and it works out of the box, but also the curious things that is nowadays we face a lot of problems. Even cloud delete a database for production database these days. Yes, you see the notice. But the crazy part is Analytics Creator is so powerful that we can change everything, but we don't change anything in production. Yeah. So what I'm about to do right now is just as you said, I will add the order table. Sorry. Let me select here the orders, and the other ones is region. I think, yeah, region I did. So I just add order here. I will add as a fact, okay, and historization. This part is the same. I will just finish. And right now I will regenerate, but also I will add a third layer. So I will move out this orders table inside of a new package to make sure that is isolated from the original environment. So when I click here in HP, so I will change the package to 3. Yeah. So let me hit save. Also, I will cancel here to change also the staging orders to 3. Okay. Oops. Okay. 2, 3. Yeah. Let me cancel this and do it again. I can't remember if I do it right. So let me change that to 3 as well. And the beauty of this thing is right now, I didn't change anything in production. I didn't commit any push on my Git repository. I didn't change anything in production. I just need to test. And for doing so, it's so powerful that we can test here that we don't need even to change. We have the deployments here, and let me see the list of deployments. And we have the past deployment that we can use the same deployment as well, because right now, Analytics Creator show us instantaneously that Northwind 3 is missing. I can push this, and I can keep working in the same project. I don't need to change. I will not lose the track where I'm at. I will keep the same metadata, and when I push deploy, I can have the same objects with the same thing. Also, because it's pure metadata, it's pure versionally. Also, the version is instantaneous. Yeah. So basically, it's this. Andy, I think yes, I made a mistake here. Just push historization 3 again here. Let me deploy it again. As I said, because it's only metadata, even if I made a mistake like I did right now, it's easy to fix. So I don't need to reprocess nothing. I don't need to repartition nothing. It's pure metadata. It's just a way to design using the best in class, using the best books like Andy books, and Kimball methodology as well. Andy, I think now it's finished. I can hand over to you.
That's outstanding. Thanks for the plug for the books. I appreciate that. Yeah. I get a quarter every time one of those books sells, and if I sell like four or 5 of them, I can go get a cheap cup of coffee. So it works out.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Gustavo. Thank you for that. Here's Gustavo's log. I just booted him out when I connected using remote desktop connection here. You can see it that the deployment ran here, And if we go back to,
Oh, sorry, Andy. I see some notice that deployment was canceled. I think you need to
saw
push
that
it again.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, let
I
me,
think you need to push it again.
So let me see if I can do it. Just push the deploy button here.
Deploy button.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So we make a good team, Gustavo. You tell me the button to push, I push it.
Oh my God. My guru is telling me this. My guru of data engineering tell me this. So I don't know.
I'm telling you, we're a great team. Great team.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the beauty of the solution. Even if it's fail, you push a button and then solve. Done.
You mentioned that in passing. I think it's worth emphasizing that this changes the game so much, because before, if something went sideways, we may spend, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes troubleshooting, just trying to figure out that something failed. We don't even have to think that way anymore. We just go regenerate it from scratch. And now it tells us that it's done. So that's a good sign, I believe in. So it looks like it's finished. Let's drop into our folder again. We'll go back to documents. We'll look at the AnalyticsCreator repo, and we'll grab this latest version here, which was just a few minutes ago, a minute ago, actually. Let's open this project. And we're going to deploy this to the dev SSIS catalog as well. We'll just right click and deploy from here. There are a number of ways, by the way, to do this deployment. We're choosing to do it this way so that we can kind of walk you through how we're thinking about doing this deployment. But there's so many options in here and so much that you can use to create your own enterprise lifecycle and manage it however you want to. There's even more automation that you could apply to this in your enterprise, especially nowadays in the age of automation, if you will. There's just a number of options that you have. But having this part, the code generation part, built on the automation of the model, I just can't overemphasize how cool that is. So kudos to Gustavo, AnalyticsCreator, Peter, Richard, the whole gang out there. I'm going to put this in the same spot as we did last time. And again, it takes about a minute for this to deploy. But I have always been drawn to automation because of the repeatability of it. And it's a small thing to say, what do you mean by repeatability? It's going to do it the same way every time. And there's an old article you may be able to look up. It's called They Write the Right Stuff. And it was published 25 years ago, something like that. It was about the shuttle program, the space shuttle program in the United States, and the company that develops that software. And what they pointed out in there was the number of bugs that software had, and it was a remarkably low number. But part of it was whenever they found a problem, what this group did was they didn't go fix the problem in the software and let it go. They went back to the process. It was all about the process. And there's a lot of stuff out there these days that talk about system thinking, which is a way of approaching solving a problem. It's not that you go crack open the code anymore and make changes to that code. You've got a process, you've got automation, and you figure out what happened that went wrong in the automation. What step did you miss or misapply in your process? You go fix the process, and then you regenerate the code. You should see, just based on the demos that Gustavo has done here today, just how AnalyticsCreator facilitates that sort of thinking. You don't go and crack open the individual SSIS packages. You go back to the model. You make sure the data warehouse model is configured correctly. You push a couple of buttons, literally a couple of buttons, and it just regenerates everything for you. And as Gustavo emphasized, I think he maybe didn't emphasize it enough. It's all metadata from that point on. Okay, I'm going to stop touting the cool things about AnalyticsCreator and start talking about my own software for a minute. How's that? If I run a compare now, we see that there are differences now. That highlighted syntax there, the NWDW, that means somewhere in this tree there's a difference. If I right click, and click on expand and then expand differences, we can see the differences. Look, we've got at least 2 more packages here that are ready to be deployed. Now, what I can do in here is on the project itself, I can right click and I can say, I want you to deploy some packages for me here. Notice the versions are different for a number of these packages here. This tells me, is this the target that you want to hit over on the other side? Yes, it is. When I click OK, it lists all of the packages and all of their differences. I can click this button. I really like this button, select mismatched. And right now they're all mismatched. But it could be that, I know I've added a couple of packages here. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. I know that I've added and updated all of these packages here, but it could be that I don't want to deploy all of these different packages over here. I'm going to, but if I wanted to, I could say, you know what? I don't really want to deploy this history Northwind 3 or this import Northwind 3 yet. It's maybe when I tested it over in dev, one of my unit tests didn't give me the answer I wanted. Maybe it didn't fail outright, but maybe it succeeded. But when I did an analysis of the data that I was expecting, I saw there was some mismatches, maybe some mistransformations. These are the kinds of things that good testing will catch when you're doing data engineering. And it doesn't matter which platform you're using. It could be SSIS or any of the others. You still want to make sure first that whatever it is you're executing executes and succeeds. That's number one. But you can't stop there. You've got to examine that target data and make sure, did it do what you wanted it to do? Did it catch the use cases? And is this a one and done thing? Absolutely not. Every time you make a change to anything, select a new couple of tables like Gustavo did when he was working on this just a few minutes ago. Every time you make a change, the potential for errors and for data quality to be introduced into this, data quality issues, they keep happening. And so this is not just a one and done type thing. You're going to find yourself going back to AnalyticsCreator, creating new transformation rules or modifying the existing rules, and then clicking those couple of buttons to regenerate the whole thing. That's going to be an ongoing process as you constantly improve, as you continuously integrate, and then continuously deploy. That's what all of that means. I'm going to go ahead and click deploy here. And it's going to give me a deploy packages error. We knew that was coming. And it says the workflow package was not found in our source project stream. This actually happened to me earlier. So what I'm going to do is deploy packages again and select mismatched. And I'm going to take that one out. It's given me an error when I try to deploy it. Folks, deployment issues occur, just like you saw. Did I plan this particular one? I'm going to be honest and tell you no. But
yeah, but I have to stop you. Sorry, Andy. I was so fascinated that in a couple clicks you can identify immediately what the problem is. So you didn't check any commit, you didn't read any task on any Git, just in a couple clicks.
Yep, absolutely. And when I click deploy now, I've got a package that for whatever reason was not going to succeed in my deployment to production. Thankfully, if it isn't going to succeed in deployment, it's probably not going to succeed when we start running it. So I just removed that. I surgically said, don't deploy that one. We'll take care of that a little bit later. And the truth is, I know because when Gustavo added the packages that he did, they were all the number 3 packages that I unchecked. I decided not to do that deployment. That workflow from the previous version that's over there, that one will run the packages that have been transferred. And again, if I go do the expand differences here, we can see that of the packages we deployed, that was the only one that's got a different version from what's in here. But we know that in that workflow package, it also runs this historical Northwind 3 and this import Northwind 3. So what we just promoted will work, but we know this, and it's a combination here of the automation and the knowledge of the data engineer that gives us this flexibility, that gives us all of these options combined. Because we have these tools, we can apply our knowledge and become way more efficient than we were without them. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to you, Gustavo. And that was really all I wanted to demo. I love the flexibility that Analytics Creator gives me in being able to add tables, make these continuous improvements, which is different from continuous integration. They both say CI, but continuous improvement is a concept that grew out of quality studies in manufacturing. And so I cut my teeth in manufacturing automation, and I see a lot of parallels between what we're doing here and that sort of stuff. And I love that we're applying software development best practices in data engineering, because I've said this a million times. Data engineering is software development. And with that, Gustavo, I'll hand it back to you. I think we're pretty much wrapped up here. Maybe we'll just put everybody's
we wrap
face.
up. I don't have too much to share anymore. Just to say the deployment itself, it's how built it is. And Brisha, I hand over to you if you have any questions.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Gustavo. Just before we go to any questions, just to let everyone know, if you want to deep dive into any further aspect in terms of change management or lifecycle management of your data warehouse, your SSIS packages, we have got 4 workshops coming up. Please go on to analyticscreator.com/events and feel free to book. You will be able to get a trial version of Analytics Creator, as well as the free versions of DILM Suite to test on your own data during those workshops, which I think is something very, very valuable. And obviously you will have the guiding hand of both Andy and Gustavo during those workshops. So if there are any questions, feel free to ask them now. Or otherwise, thank you very much, everyone, for your time. Andy, Gustavo, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Gustavo, Richard, and I see Peter has dropped off. That's fine. This was a fantastic version of this webinar. We've done these before, and this one went remarkably well, and I'm really glad that we were able to do this.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
sure.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye.